Never in my life did I think I would be making a deep dive episode of the Pokemon like Snorlax, yet here we are. We got the perfect opportunity because of the sleeping Snorlax being introduced into Pokemon Go. This is mostly in correlation to the new Pokemon Sleep feature, but regardless of that, a couple of factors that we had about the event that is very interesting. For me personally, I think the first one is the fact that we had so many Snorlaxes spawn, so you were really able to stack up on this Pokemon. That is crucial. A secondary thing is that it does have the exclusive move Yawn, but Yawn is a 0 damage move, so I'm personally not that excited about it. A couple of the larger ones that I did end up getting from the event, I went ahead and just changed the fast move over to something else, like a Zen Headbutt, for example. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about how you can use Snorlax in Pokemon Go, as well as a strategy destined to be successful for lower level players and then also new players. But if you are a veteran, this is something that you can also communicate to the new players in your community. I'm definitely excited about it, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Snorlax with a max AP of 3,225. Snorlax is a pure normal type Pokemon. Taking a look at the stats, it is definitely a one-trick pony. Its stamina stat definitely stands out at a stat of 330, ranked at 5th in Pokemon Go. Its attack and defense stat are roughly similar to each other as far as the rankings are concerned, an overall ranking of 70th in Pokemon Go. Its moveset is quite interesting. It does have quite a large pool to consider for the fact that we currently have 4 charge moves available, so definitely use your TMs wisely since they are currently random. And then finally we have a legacy move of Body Slam. So this legacy move, Body Slam, is crucial as far as gym defense is concerned. Snorlax is best for gym defense. As far as its ranking is concerned, it's generally considered to be the 3rd best gym defender behind Pokemon like Blissey or Chansey. The only catch is that it's typically good with the legacy move Body Slam. But even then, if you don't have Body Slam and use something else like Heavy Slam, for example, it's really going to be a solid gym defender. It's going to take a little bit of time to take down. Yes, it is going to slip a little bit in the rankings, but that is something that everybody knows Snorlax for. So if you are curious about the usability, definitely consider using it from a gym defense standpoint. But beyond gym defense, we can talk about it a little bit as a raid attacker. So yes, it is not considered to be a good raid attacker by any means, but it does have one major advantage that I think is very good for lower level players. For many of the veterans out there, you're not going to know the crisis that exists for people probably below level 25, and that is a simple fact of the revive crisis. You have players who are running into situations where they end up doing raids and they're going through 10, 15, 20 Pokemon because they are so level that they just go through a ton of them, and the reward system, they're not getting enough revives to supplement it, so they basically go negative. They end up with a bunch of Pokemon that they cannot revive, and a lot of these players have resorted to getting around this by powering up Pokemon because it will give you some of the health back, and then using a potion. So hear me on this. You have players getting around this by powering up Pokemon just so they can heal their Pokemon, without even necessarily realizing that in some cases they could be using thousands of Stardust to be able to do this, and that is not okay. But at the same time, they may not know about a strategy like this. And this is something that we have used in my local community, and it is something that we have kind of embraced to help out newer players. And that is the simple fact of using what I would call a punching bag in the raid system. If you have a bunch of people raiding and you have a lower level player, you would recommend them to use something like a Snorlax, especially because it has become a little bit more available. Blissey is a little bit difficult to get, but Snorlax is going to be a solid option where they're not going to have to use as many revives, and the damage does not necessarily matter because we have enough people raiding in our community that we can afford to have a player or two not really doing any damage so that they can focus on saving up their resources and then of course building a team over time. But they really get kind of strapped for Stardust because of that powering up secret, and because they can't simply raid, I think a lot of players get frustrated at a lower level, and then eventually you kind of hit this ceiling where you break through, and then it becomes better. You're having Pokemon that don't faint as much, and then of course you get enough revives to where you end up with plenty of them to cover. But for lower level players, this could be a strategy that you may want to use, but of course talk to people in your community. You don't want 20 people going in with a Snorlax and then not being able to defeat the raid boss, but a couple of people here and there could definitely go a long way as far as helping them is concerned. So beyond the raid strategy, you're of course considering, should you power it up, should you unlock a secondary charge move? And what I'm going to say to this is I would personally say no to powering it up. Try to catch yourself the largest level in the wild that you possibly can. I mean, it has such a large CP that you can catch that I would personally say, hey, just kind of leave it there. The lower the CP is, to some extent, it is going to decay at a little bit slower rate as a gym defender. And then of course unlocking a secondary charge move. I think it's kind of interesting if you have a body slam Snorlax and then maybe unlocking something else. It's actually not that bad from PvP, but only in the Masters League. So definitely keep that in consideration. But for me personally, I'm going to say no powering it up, and then I'm also going to say no secondary charge move unless you have that body slam legacy move. Anyways, I hope you did enjoy this. I want to know what you think about Snorlax in the comment section below. Do you plan to use it at any point in time? Let me know, and I will see you next time. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.